The Mach-E GT and the Polestar 2 are both electric cars that cost about $60,000. Not only can they each trace their lineage back to performance cars, but they are also competitors in this next electric car chapter of the traditional rivalry between American muscle and European performance cars. In this video, I'll perform a side-by-side comparison of the two cars and show you if they stay true to tradition. In my continuing series of comparing electric cars, I've been looking forward to the comparison between the Mach-E GT and the Polestar 2, partly because of their backgrounds. They're the first all-electric vehicles for both Ford and Polestar. Giving into market pressures, both manufacturers have chosen to develop these as crossover-style vehicles. In a controversial decision, Ford chose to make this crossover part of the Mustang brand, a brand which has been renowned for producing two-door muscle cars. With the weight of this branding, Ford has gone to great lengths to make the Mach-E visually recognizable as a part of the Mustang family. There's familiar cues like the long hood, the fastback line, the crease down the middle, and the tuck at the waist. In front, it sports the characteristic hexagonal grille with the pulled-back headlights, and the rear has the iconic 3-bar lights. They've even gone so far as to include wild colors that recall the traditional two-door Mustang, like the Cyber Orange metallic color. The Polestar 2, on the other hand, has a lot less historic baggage when it comes to styling. Before it was spun out as its own company, Polestar was the racing arm of Volvo. Being a new company, it could develop its own design language and not be tied down to tradition. Polestar's designers come from Volvo, and they have chosen to give the cars a bold, striking, clean European look, also with a fastback line. There's a nod to Volvo with the Thor's hammer lights, and the overall form reminds me of some of the older boxy Volvos, and I mean that in a good way. The colors are muted and sophisticated, the personality is a little bit more symphony compared to Mach-E's rock and roll. Despite being boxy, the Polestar has great aerodynamics, but hard to compare to the Mach-E since Ford won't release exact figures. And speaking of figures, notable differences between the Polestar and Mach-E are that the Mach-E is 5 inches longer and has a wheelbase that is 10 inches longer. Now, while the exteriors of these cars make reference back to their lineage, the interiors are anything but traditional. The futuristic minimalist interiors are inspired by and aimed at the chief rival, the Tesla Model 3. Polestar's interior has a luxury feel with a focus on sustainability. It includes materials like weave tech, which is made from recycled materials and reconstructed wood. The non-GT Mach-E's get a nice interior, but perhaps with a little less focus on sustainability. Seats are covered in synthetic ActiveX, the same material you find in other Fords like the C-Max and the Fusion. With the GT though, Mach-E turns it up a notch with cool copper piping and Miko inserts made from recycled polyester and polyurethane fibers. The interior in both is dominated by the vertical infotainment screen, 11 inches in the Polestar and 15.5 in the Mach-E. A really helpful feature in the Mach-E screen is the dial for volume. Polestar has one too, but it's located in a hard-to-get-to place in front of the shifter. Both rely heavily on voice-activated technologies to allow the driver to keep their eyes on the road, powered by Google in the Polestar and by Ford's Sync 4A in the Mach-E. But notable in Mach-E's tablet is the learning feature. The software will learn which apps you use frequently and place those within easy reach. When it comes to interior dimensions, because of the pronounced fastback line, the Mach-E's headroom is less than Polestar's, but because of the longer length and wheelbase, rear passengers get about 4 inches more of legroom. Both have crossover-style bodies, but the Polestar's cargo capacity is similar to that of a sedan, while the Mach-E's is significantly bigger. Another feature you'd expect from a crossover is towing capacity. Polestar can tow 2,000 pounds, but surprisingly, the Mach-E is not rated at all for towing in North America. And with the EPA classifying it as a small station wagon, it really makes you question how much of an SUV it really is. When it comes to technology, both these cars offer a full suite of technology and safety features. There's collision mitigation, rear cross traffic alert, blind spot warning, and lane keeping aid, among others. Volvo has traditionally been a leader in safety technologies, but in an interesting reversal of roles, it is Ford that offers the more advanced hands-free driving technology in the Mach-E. While that is a future feature that costs extra and allows you to drive hands-free only on certain roads in North America, at this time, Polestar only includes Pilot Assist, which requires you to keep your hands on the wheel. Before we get to performance, would you please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel? I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and you can help me get there. So, on with performance. Polestar has a 78 kWh battery with a range of 233 miles. The Mach-E GT has a usable 88 kWh battery and estimates a range of 250 miles. Both have two motors providing all-wheel drive capability. I really enjoyed the spirited quick performance drive of the Polestar, but it lacks any drive modes, and I found the suspension, which is not adjustable, to be a little stiff. The Mach-E GT is not available for test drives yet, but given what I'm seeing based on reviews of the Mach-E, I expect the GT to have a solid performance-oriented drive. What's nice is it does come with adaptive dampers and also offers 3 drive modes. Traditionally, with gas cars, American muscle cars have offered more power for your money as compared to their European rivals. So, does that hold true in this next electric car chapter of this rivalry? Well, both cars are priced the same at about $60,000. The Polestar delivers 408 horsepower and 487 pound-feet of torque with 0 to 60 in 4.45 seconds. The Mach-E GT, in comparison, is targeted to deliver 480 horsepower, a whopping 600 pound-feet of torque, and an expected 0 to 60 time of 3.8 seconds. Both Polestar and Ford offer performance versions. For an additional $5,000, Polestar gives you manually adjustable Öhlins dampers, Brembo brakes, and a few other cosmetic items, but no increase in power. The additional price for the Mach-E GT's Performance Edition is not known yet, but I suspect it will be about the same premium as Polestar's. For that, you get 634 pound-feet of torque, an estimated 0 to 60 time of 3.5 seconds, magnetic dampers, and a few cosmetic items. So, for the same money, the Mach-E GT delivers more power than the Polestar. And with that, it's exciting to see that the traditional price-to-performance rivalry stays true into the world of electric cars also. Please give the video a like, share your comments below, and subscribe to the Driver Download.